What is going on? You are watching, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live version. I'm your host, Steve V, sitting right next to Cody Maurice Doggett. How the
What?
hell are you? Welcome,
Hello,
welcome.
hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me over to your beautiful apartment,
Oh,
darling.
of course. Well, I had to have you over because it is Hispanic Heritage
It
Month,
certainly
day
is.
number
Yep.
one, and we are celebrating all the contributions made by the Hispanic community. And you guess what? That that's us.
That's us.
So
We're doing it.
we are contributing in our way, talking openly about gay sexuality. It has
That's right.
been for 4.5 years. And as you recall, this show launched 1 year ago, and Tags Live, that is.
Yeah.
And so we're really happy about that. But in honor of that, I'm wearing my Mexican t-shirt.
It's so beautiful. It's
Thank
so beautiful.
you.
I wish I had thought to bring something that represented my culture, but I mean, I have on a beautiful tank top too.
I love it. You look great.
Thank
And
you.
cheers with my Mexican glasses that I got from
Cheers.
Sayulita, Mexico. Cheers. And we're drinking tequila. But we also, of course, celebrated earlier and we went and had Latin food down the street from where I live. And Cody, I guess the first question to ask you is
Yes.
how do you celebrate your heritage? Because you're biracial, correct?
Yes, I am. I celebrate mainly by, well, I'll be doing the things that I always do. I visit my family.
Yep.
I'll eat lots and lots of Latino food, Puerto Rican food. I eat a lot of Mexican food as well. And I will also be doing more by, there's this autobiography of Miguel Pinero that I want to read.
Ooh.
So I'm definitely going to be doing that. And also find like Latino and Hispanic voices, which I'm so glad that I'm on this show because that's what this show allows me to do. So, well, I'm already starting on day one, y'all. So I'm happy.
Absolutely. And for myself, I think the way I always celebrate my heritage, I'm Mexican American. And, we were talking about it offline
Mhm.
that I didn't grow up with a lot of Latinos, but my grandmother, who spoke Spanish, was
Yes.
a prominent figure growing up, as well as the Mexican food. And I'm talking about tamales that we still to
Ooh.
this day eat every single Christmas
Yes.
and honor that tradition. There's oftentimes my aunt and my family, and there's an assembly line going on because, as you know, it takes the masa
Takes a
and
village.
the whole process. It's not something you just whip up over like a
Yes.
taco. And so it's really great. And so that's
Nice.
how I honor it. And yeah, and just by wearing, going to Mexico and learning more about it.
Oh,
And
you're going to
so
Mexico this month?
I'm going more in November, but
Okay, all right.
I've been going a lot to
We can make it
various
count.
parts of
Yeah.
Mexico and learning more about just my culture and my background. But
I should
that's,
go to Puerto Rico.
yes, San Juan, I'll go with you for
Let's
sure.
go.
Honey, all month we will be celebrating Latin porn stars,
Yes.
Hispanic contributors, not just porn stars, but people that are in the community serving as heritage. So absolutely. What were you gonna say?
Fabulous. Happy Mexican Independence Day as well. Viva
Oh,
Mexico. Yes.
yes,
Thank you,
absolutely.
Jen.
It's a big day for all of this.
It
So
is.
yeah, I had a question before we get into our show,
Okay.
hot topics and everything. We have a vulnerable voices coming your way, but have you always been attracted to? You're biracial,
Yes.
half black, half Puerto Rican,
Yes.
and I'm just curious: have you always been attracted to people of that culture, or have you gone the other route?
So when I first started dating as a gay man, I dated a lot of Latino guys and Hispanic guys. As I explored more, I dated more outside of that genre. So I dated a lot of white guys too. And I think that as I've come to explore, I've dated Asian guys, I've dated black guys, it's run the gamut. And I think that what's really interesting? Before I started dating my current boyfriend, I said to myself, I really want to date a person of color because they understand where I'm coming from. They understand the struggle that I've been through. They understand so many things about me.
Right.
So but now my boyfriend's white, so
which we love,
and I love him, and he's beautiful, and yeah.
You know, and sometimes having a mixed relationship like that, it's yin and yang. You can learn from each other, and it's really kind of a great moment. I was just listening to you talking to your boyfriend, and you told him what dish you had at the restaurant. Say it.
Pollo guisado, yeah.
And he said, "Pollo de what?"
So he was like, "What is that?"
It can be kind of a cool teaching moment, and
Yeah.
I know he's Italian,
He is
and
Italian.
that can always. I love the Italian culture, and so yeah, you can learn. And for myself, I think I didn't grow up with a lot of Latinos around me, and so I just was naturally drawn to Caucasian men, and also the porn at the time in the 80s, 90s was only white for the most part.
It's very geared.
Yeah, I'll never forget. There was one porn film called Manhattan Latin by. Yeah, it was really good. I forget the name of the director.
I need to Google that one.
Maybe, and we should honor him this month. We'll bring him, as I said, this month, Hispanic Heritage Month. We'll be honoring our version of people that are making a change in our gay sexuality. And so we'll honor this director. But the film, it was the first time I ever saw, they were mostly Spanish men, but it was so hot to me. And since then, like in college, I took Chicano studies, and I joined groups like La Raza,
Nice.
and I think that's where I started to become more attracted to Latinos. But I've had boyfriends of every descent, literally. My longest boyfriend was Chinese American, white, of course, Latinos, Black. So yeah.
I just got to get out there and explore, guys.
I do have some stipulations, but I don't just date anybody. But yeah,
we'll see about that, darling.
Yes, exactly. Well, exactly. But we've got to get into it, and I couldn't help but shout out to we talked a lot about people making a difference in the LGBTQ community, and we recently mentioned that Carl Nassib, who plays for the Las Vegas Raiders, came out as gay, and it's the first NFL player to come out. But this past weekend, the NFL defense end, who came out as gay earlier this year, forced a fumble that led to the Raiders scoring a thrilling 33-27 victory over the Ravens.
Go tight end.
And we say that, yeah, right? We say this because not only did he come out, not only is he the first NFL gay player, which we were talking about before. We keep talking about the representation that continues to peel back and show themselves. This is big because NFL is so mainstream. And then to have, I think it was I'm not sure if it was their first game or not, but to get them to victory shows our prominence and how powerful we are as an LGBTQ community.
It's so monumental.
Yeah.
It's so worth talking about. It's so worth praising. And I'm so happy for him. And I'm so glad that he is out there exemplifying all the beautiful traits, showing that we are more than just one monolithic thing as far as gay men. We can be anything we want to be.
Absolutely. Definitely. So shout out to Carl. All right. Well, if you listen to the other day, we did Tags Podcast episode 298. We did it here in studio along with Lincoln.
So much
and
fun.
It was so fun. If you haven't listened to it, it was the first one. I posted a little something video clip on Tags Podcast, and you'll see us in the same room. And it was so great to be back together again. We started, the one beautiful thing about being together in the same room is you get to see everyone's expressions. And cutting people off is, it's conversational.
Oh yeah.
You don't get that when you're over in Brooklyn, and or I do cut you off, but
most of the time you do. You're like, Cody, calm it down. Okay, I got something to say.
But we started talking about this penis care, and we started talking about the health of your penis, and a doctor was talking about on this New Now Next story about one of the ways you can tell if you have a healthy dick, penis, cock, whatever you want to call it, is if you wake up in the morning and you have an erection. And that's, she said, up 20 to 25 is how many that we actually have per night that we don't even know about. And we got we started talking about that. We all agreed that we wake up with morning wood.
Yeah.
And we got into the
We
conversation
got
about
healthy
morning
penises.
sex.
Oh yeah, so that's where it ended. I feel
That's
like
where it
we got
ended.
really caught up with the morning sex.
You were not so much into morning sex, but Lincoln is, but sometimes he's busy and his boyfriend is wanting to have sex and he's sneaking out of the bedroom.
Yeah, because he's like, if Peter sees this Peter, then it's all over. I've gotten more into morning sex as I've started to date my current boyfriend because he's very into morning sex.
You're so
And
accommodating.
you know what? I just like sex a lot. So anytime I can get it, I'm ready to go.
I just think of course, here we go, belaboring the point, but I just think to start your day off, if you're in bed with somebody that you're really attracted to, you're into, to kind of wake up and do like this doctor says, we're hard,
Yeah.
because that's the way our body, it's such a natural moment for your eyes to wake up and then go right into roll over, and it's so natural. It's like a segue in a great mix.
Yes.
It's
I can agree with that.
where sometimes at night, if you've been out, one of you might be tired. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, at night I get the randiest always.
The randiest.
The horniest. I am always ripping and raring to go at night.
Wow.
I want to do everything, every dirty thing. The nighttime is the right time, as Ray Charles would say.
Okay. Yeah. See, it's just we're all different that way, and so, but we failed to finish
and we're failing right now. I don't know.
Well,
If you know.
we had more to say on that. Here's what also the doctor said. This doctor that was talking about it. There's the whole matter of keeping our dicks clean. So, circumcised or not, your penis should be washed every day with warm water and gentle soap.
Okay.
Interesting tidbit on that, though. There's another story that I was reading about that this other doctor, not Dr. Goldstein, who was a friend to the show, this female doctor who's an ass doctor as well, love him, that she said, so for your ass, you don't have to actually wash it. You can be doing more damage. She said, rinse it daily with warm water, and that should do the trick. I know.
Does she know what comes out of there?
She said that should be enough, because oftentimes harsh soaps that have perfumes, or I always have a fragrance soap in there and I always have a scrub soap.
Okay.
And she's saying that those can actually do more harm than not. And so from that perspective, I think she said rinsing is enough. So because I'm going to buy a bar of Ivory soap, if y'all remember that.
I do.
And keep it there. But when I have guests over, I'm going to definitely say, do not use the Ivory. It's my ass soap.
It's my butt soap.
It's my butt soap.
I put that in my butt.
I know my friends that stay will not be into it anyway, because they'll be like, Ivory, what is this, the 80s? And I mean, no.
Where's the Irish Spring at?
Exactly. That's where I still want to clean I'll probably Ivory it every single day.
Okay, all right, because to get the particles off of there,
she says warm water, wash it like 3 to 4 times a week, rinse it, but every day she does say you need to take a shower and rinse it with warm water.
I need to see. I don't necessarily need to smell the evidence, but I need to see the evidence of how that is taken care of.
I think there's gentle ways. Dr. Goldstein has gentler ways that you can clean every day. He's got, actual I'll put his website on our TAGSPodcast.com tomorrow, and you'll see the products that are gentle, that are scientifically created by him and other ass doctors, if you will. And we'll list those on TAGSPodcast.com. Perfect. But they also say if you have foreskin, do you have foreskin, Cody?
No, I don't.
Okay. If you do,
I'm a little disappointed about that.
Well, you would need to roll back the skin, exposing the glands, and carefully wash the tip of your penis with gentle soap and water. And be sure not to scrub, as the area can be very sensitive. I'm sure you know this too if you're uncircumcised.
Yeah.
Then gently pat the glands dry and put the foreskin back. if smegma, do you know what that is?
I do know that.
Such a horrible name.
Wait, is
Ew.
dick cheese that much better?
Oh. If smegma, as you now know what we're talking about, a common substance made of oil and dead skin cells that can build under the foreskin, is present and hardened, gently rub oil on the area before cleaning to
Oh.
loosen up the accumulation.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Have you, I mean, have you ever been with
Oh,
someone that
yes.
is and
I
smelled
enjoy it.
smegma?
I've never smelled smegma. I have, however, been with plenty of uncircumcised men,
Okay.
and they always knew how to clean out the smegma. I think we're just gonna say smegma the entire show.
Smegma.
If you're ready.
Yeah. Every time we say it, you got to drink.
You got a drink.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a fun game.
Yes, exactly. All right, smegma. Moving on to, all right. We started this segment when we first started this show called Vulnerable Voices, and essentially it's where we get a little bit deeper. And this week I couldn't help but notice a story that was making the headlines. Just trying to find it here, but it's essentially about Instagram and how Instagram has come under fire. Do you have the story
I
there?
do. Do you want me
Can
to
you?
read
Yeah,
some
can you
of it?
read some of it?
So, lawmakers across both parties and chambers of Congress are demanding answers from Facebook about how its services impact the mental health of teens and children. The questions come in the wake of the Wall Street Journal report Tuesday that found internal studies that Facebook had determined that its Instagram social network had a significant negative impact on teenage girls. The report revealed Facebook's awareness of this impact, including an internal presentation that said 32% of teen girls said Instagram made them feel even worse when they were feeling bad about their bodies.
Yeah, and these were people, this whole study, the Wall Street Journal study, looked at people that actually worked and created, were behind
Yeah.
creating Instagram. So they actually said it was meant to be addictive. And they are obviously talking in this article about teen girls, 32% of teen girls. But it begs the question that when all of us can get so immersed in it.
Yes.
And first of all, I guess, could you handle Instagram as a teen boy, knowing what it's like now?
Oh, oh no. My teenage years were so engulfed in insecurities. Like, take gay out of the equation.
Yeah.
100%. I was so insecure about my body. There were so many hormones going on.
Yes.
And I don't think that I would have the mental capacity or the awareness. I was a pretty naive kid too. So I think that it would have only lessened my self-love and the idea of my self-worth and who I was as a person. And back in when I was growing up, back in the 90s, the ideal was white beauty. So I think that would have negatively impacted me as well.
So to your point, and I just thought of this right now,
Uh-huh.
I grew up was a young kid when I would have been able to go on it in the 80s.
Okay.
And you're right. If we put Instagram into our era, all I would have seen is also the same thing, which
Yeah.
would have done nothing to help me, and a lot of homophobia.
Oh my
And they wouldn't.
goodness.
But if they took what's going on now with so many people, Carl Nassib, an NFL player,
Uh-huh.
and all of the examples of LGBTQ people coming out, and Little Nas X,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth, it probably would have given me a lot more hope for my coming out and giving me a lot less shame that I already was feeling on the playground
Uh-huh.
for being a brown boy, and at times for being gay. So I kind of got it both ways.
Yeah.
If it would be what we see now, I would probably benefit from the representation and knowing that it's going to be okay because there's so many people that look like me out there.
Yeah.
But like you say, if it was simply, which that's probably how it would have been, placed this social media on our time frames that
Okay.
wouldn't see as many representation of ourselves.
So to your question, to your point, if I was a teenager now and seeing all that types of thing, I think that I still would be pretty insecure because I think that I honestly don't think that there is enough body positivity, body representation on Instagram. It's still one body type basically that is deemed as beautiful on Instagram. Personally, is how I feel, and maybe it's just my feed. I try and look at a lot of different body types, but I know that.
Well, and they say it's designed, again, I was watching news stories on this all
Uh,
day. It's designed they designed it in a way where even when you put it down, most people don't log off. So
oh
it's
yeah,
on in the background, and it's designed to be addictive. So you don't turn it fully off, but you're always ready to grab that phone. And we all know a friend or two that you're sitting with them at dinner
or
or
my
out and
boyfriend.
about, or your boyfriend that is jumping on and scrolling away. I think because I didn't grow up with, it came later on for me, and I had to learn to like it for the show.
Okay.
So I post more than anything else. And as I was telling you offline, I'll go on there when I post and I'll see like the top 4 things that are currently in the mix.
Yeah.
And I have a nice variety of people. And even when I do have a thirst trap picture, it's a trainer we were talking
Yeah.
about that I'm currently trying to get a little fit differently. And so I find it inspirational when I see some of those.
Now, same for me.
But I also, in terms of body positivity, I follow, you and I both watch RuPaul's Drag Race. And the
Oh.
last installment, I was a big fan of, what's her name? My favorite? Eureka. Thank you.
She's your favorite.
Eureka. And she's a big girl. And I heard her talk on the show that she's always been made fun of because of her weight. And I like all of her pictures because I think, yes, we need to see more of this.
I
And I'm
agree.
kind of attracted to the guy that is behind Eureka.
Me too. I love Eureka, but I just am making fun of you because you say it's your favorite.
And I don't even know the
and you
name.
can't even
You
get
know
her
how
name
hard
right.
it is to keep up with those drag queen names. Jeez.
I just think that's hilarious.
I told you my drag name would be Donna Matrix.
Damn,
Matrix.
I love that.
Donna Matrix.
Coco Royale, of course.
Coco Royale. Okay, I like
A
it.
nice creamy chocolatey drink.
Ooh, I like that. We'll have to have that next week on the menu.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I like that.
I agree with you that I think that a lot of body positivity needs to be on Instagram. And I see a lot of that in the drag queens that I follow as well.
Yeah.
As well. So like Trinity K. Bonet. I don't follow Eureka, unfortunately.
Well, you're missing it. Oh, the one that you say you're also find attractive.
But I think they're beautiful. But I follow a lot of queens of color, and I also follow Aquaria. So
yeah,
all the black queens in Aquaria.
Do any of the people you follow that have great bodies ever make you feel insecure or anything about where you're at with because we're, no matter, even I'm sure some of these people that have amazing bodies, we're always, no one's perfect.
It's okay.
Yeah. Do you think, I haven't fallen into that trap yet at all, but have you experienced that?
I think in Instagram's initial onset, when I started to get into it, I definitely fell into that trap. I would look at other people's bodies and be completely taken in by the fantasy and by what they're presenting on this social media app.
Yeah.
But as time has gone on, I have learned to take the good with the bad, like you said, and take inspiration from them rather than being jealous of them or finding insecurities about them, about myself by looking at them.
Right. And I think when it can be a good thing is even when you see something, recognizing the art, that the picture that they created can be kind of a cool thing, and that's kind of where I find myself. Again, I don't go there on there that much, so when I do, it's a good thing. But
Yeah.
let's talk about some fun things that can still be
Okay.
vulnerable about
Ooh.
Instagram sliding into someone's DM, or when people
Yes.
slide into your DMs. I was
Does that
recently
happen to me? I don't know if it happens to me. Does it happen to you?
well, we use it a lot for the show. And by the
Okay.
way, you can always slide into at Tags Podcast, and we give us, if you're looking for sex or relationship advice, we are here for you.
Oh,
We
100%.
usually do it on the Tuesday show, Tags Podcast, which Cody's often on,
Yep.
and it's a lot of fun. We three of us will seriously give you our thoughts on relationships, and take it or leave it, love it or hate it, but we are here for you.
We deep
And
dive.
yeah, so that's a lot of fun. um I have slid into some guys that I wanted on the show
Oh, you doing the
before.
sliding now?
I do a little bit. I haven't I don't know, have I done it for somebody that I'm into?
Okay.
I have, and I didn't either get a
Okay.
response. There's been a couple times that I have too. It's kind of a fun tool, but you're in a relationship.
Yes.
How does that work for you now?
So I was talking to somebody. I'll tell this story really quick. I was talking to someone slid into my DMs because of my wonderful thirst traps. Angles are a wonderful thing, guys. Uh,
Yes, at Mr.
at
Maurice.
Mr. Maurice, okay, at me. No dick pics, nothing like that. So I was talking to him pre-pandemic, and we were sending each other flirtatious messages, things of that nature. And then I met my boyfriend. We started to become very, very serious. And I hadn't received any flirtatious messages from him. And then maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago, he sent me a dick pic. And I put the full stop on it. I was like, I
Because it's kind of a big thing to go, if you have, because it's kind of, you build up a rhythm with when you're sitting, the you say hi, and
yeah.
it's this thing, you build up that rhythm. And sending dick pics is a big thing, not so much maybe for our community, but if you've gotten that, but to randomly send it later
I
on.
know it was weird because I hadn't gotten anything for so long, and I figured maybe he knew because I post on my Instagram, my boyfriend, pictures of us. So I figured maybe he knew, but I said to him, I appreciate this. Thank you. It's beautiful. But I can't, I have a boyfriend now, so I can't do this anymore. And he was very respectful. He said, oh, I did not know that you had a boyfriend. And he hasn't sent one
Okay,
still. He still
well,
messaged me from time to time,
that's fair.
but fun things and nice things.
Well,
So
I am dot Stevie. You feel free to send all the dick pics my
send your
way,
dick pics in the
and
news
I will
his way.
take them. I am not currently in a relationship, and will happily accept.
Here's what you can do: post it to Twitter. Tell me it's there, and I will go on Twitter and look at it.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
I think the long way around.
Yes. Do you think it can cause in a relationship jealousy to
For
wonder?
sure.
Because now it's this extra thing, not like who you texting, who's texting you back, but who's sliding into your DMs.
Yeah, because
Or do you have to just have an open mind about it, and it's all flirting?
I haven't stopped posting thirst traps, so there's definitely the space to receive that type
I
of
like that.
attention. So there's only all you can do is trust your partner.
Right.
And the moment that there's no trust, then there's something that needs to be discussed. So
But you said on another episode that you will take your
I
boyfriend's
have his
phone.
passcode,
You have
but
his passcode.
I could look at his DMs, but I don't look at his DMs.
Okay, good. I think that's going a little far if you did.
It totally is. It's crossing a line, I feel like.
Yeah, because someone can
That you
slide
can't-
into your
can't-
DMs, and he had nothing to do with it.
Exactly. Okay, so I will tell you this one.
Tell
little
us this
story.
while I
Oh,
refill my
goodness. I didn't want
cocktail.
to say this on air. So
Do you know why I like the word cocktail?
two of my favorite things are in that
Yes.
word. Anyway, so I noticed that one of the DMs were that in, but only because he had his Instagram open, and I noticed that one of the DMs was to an attractive man. And I said, "Oh, babe, what is that?" And he explained to me exactly what it was. I didn't go through his phone.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do anything like that. He just happened to have it open next to me. And I asked him a question. He was honest with me. I didn't feel the need to even inspect it later on.
And you know what? In all fairness, you have a younger boyfriend.
I do.
And in just what we're talking about, it's generated towards a younger generation.
It
You
is.
and I just talked about you grew up in the, your pivotal years, 90s. I was the 80s.
I was 10 in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Soft and supple in
Okay,
the 90s.
child. But I'm just saying that if I had a younger boyfriend, I think I would have to just know that, and I couldn't get too mad. But there would always have to be a conversation with it.
You know what makes me a little bit upset? When we're together and say we're in the bed and he gets on Instagram and he's like liking all of these pictures, that makes me a little bit upset.
Yeah. It can get that drives me nuts.
Yeah. So, and I've expressed this to him. He is a work in progress.
Yeah. I feel like I've had that conversation a few times with people, and it's like you're talking to a wall. And
exactly.
So
and Instagram is addictive. We just said that.
Yes.
So I'm giving
and addictions are a real thing, and we're not even joking about that. It really is an addiction.
It really is.
And so, yeah. Anyways, all right. Let us know how you feel about Instagram. Do you slide into people's? But more importantly, ask us for advice. At TAGSPodcast is our handler.
And send Steve nudes.
Exactly.
So he can show me.
Exactly. Well, we have got to move on. And there's a story that was making headlines that was really nuts, and it's out in Spain. It's entitled "Butt Carving Hate Crime Victim Now Says He Made Up the Entire Incident." So there's this 20-year-old man in Spain who claimed 8 guys wearing hoodies carved an anti-gay slur on his butt using a knife in a horrific hate crime. Now the guy says the act was consensual, and according to police reports from yesterday, the unnamed man has admitted to making up the story so that he wouldn't lose his current boyfriend.
Wow.
I couldn't make sense of how. The only thing is maybe they were already kind of I'm making this up, but
okay.
The only why would you do this to keep your boyfriend? The only thing that I could think of is maybe you victimized yourself.
Oh, you mean the story.
So that you got so much sympathy, like maybe your boyfriend was going to break up and out the door, and then you created this whole thing. I was just practically raped and beaten up, and they carved this on me, and your ex is like, well, I can't leave him now. That's the only reason I could think that he said that, because they didn't dive into the exact mental state of why. He just said he made this up to keep his current, so he wouldn't lose his current boyfriend. And according to the report on out.com this afternoon, and thanks to the work of the National Police, the young man who reported an attack on Sunday in Malansanya neighborhood of Madrid has decided to rectify his initial statement, and has stated that the injuries initially reported were consensual.
Yeah. That right there is what kind of gets me.
Yeah.
Because the injuries were consensual, so he wanted them to carve that epithet in his butt. See, I'm trying to use nice, big, beautiful words. He wanted them to carve fag into his ass.
Maricon.
But yeah. Oh, okay.
But it's a slur.
Yeah, the slur, the queer slur into his ass. So I don't know. It's sounding like a fetish to me, and I'm not a kink shamer at all. Some people like to be called slurs during sex.
No, but I think all the information we have up until this point is, and we're going to talk a little bit about what this means, particularly in Spain, in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the whole point of it is that all the information we have right now, according to authorities, is that he did it so that he wouldn't lose his boyfriend. So imagine the only thing I
Oh.
imagine. So if you and I are together, Cody, and I did something, you're like over me. I'm done
Okay.
with you, Steve. Say that.
Oh, I could never be done with you, Steve.
And I'm like, oh no. And I'm like freaking out and I don't know what to do.
Uh-huh.
How can I keep you, Cody, is
Okay.
make myself a victim and say I was part of a hate crime
Okay.
and so bad that 8 guys attacked me with hoodies on and they carved maricon on my butt. And what are you going to do? Are you going to still leave me, Cody?
Yeah, I would be
What?
your friend and support you.
Yeah, well, you probably
But
would
we wouldn't
because
be
you.
boyfriends
Well, now you're
anymore.
definitely going to leave me because you know I made the whole thing up. But if you didn't know that, you're not going to abandon me. And this guy has
we
abandonment
could
issues.
still be friends, and I would.
But
I
my
would support
point
you
is, and I have
That's
a point.
healthy way to go about it.
I'm not saying this guy's right. It's like mental. I think
Yeah.
he did it thinking that he could keep this guy in his life.
Okay.
The
So he
sad
paid
thing
somebody
is
to-
by crying wolf is, from the start of the investigation, well, they had CCTV cameras going and none of it picked up any of this stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So that's why they decided to continue to investigate and they had nothing. So when they dragged his ass, that maricon ass, into the police station, he admitted, I made it all up. And this is the only part, because as we all know, there's crimes all are happening towards our community. And this is where if you cry wolf too many times, it's not good. Thankfully, quote, if we frivolize with what happened, many people will feel even more coerced. Interior Minister Fernando Grande Marlaska said in a statement yesterday, quote, those people who denounce may go on to not denounce. Wait, what does that mean?
Yep. Those people who denounce may go on to not denounce, to perhaps think that they do not believe it.
Okay, so I guess the point being is the people that cry wolf, if we have too many of those, people are going to think that the real cases aren't real.
Yes, exactly.
And thank God, the president and this interior minister want the world to know that we believe that most, 99% of these are all real
Or valid.
and we don't want to let this one case, because this is just the kind of thing that we'll see they are making these things up and then we're not going to cry wolf. It's the whole
the boy who cried wolf, maricon ass. The boy who cried maricon ass.
So we have a mental issue here in this going on more than anything else.
Oh no.
What?
So Jen says that this reminded him of his ex. His ex claimed to be raped, so I wouldn't go on a family, it must be vacation, just because he couldn't go. And then when I stayed, he confessed and that he made it all up.
This is exactly what we're talking about. I think people get desperate in terms. So I'm assuming he was so desperate that he made up this horrific thing. And like we were saying, you're going to stay. He stayed because, of course, you're not going to not believe somebody, and you're not going to leave you're going to stay there for them. I think, sadly, that these people are in such a mental state, they need more help, and that they are creating these horrific stories, partly because they're real, happening in the world.
Yes.
So they're drawing from what's going on, but it's mental, and you need help if you do that.
Yeah.
And
I'm not a doctor or a psychologist, but that sounds borderline sociopathic to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if is it Jen?
Jen, yes.
How they dealt with it. If you want to share more, we'd love to read more of it, but no worries if not. Thank you for sharing what you did on that, because I think it is a real thing. I think we've been talking about who's the porn star that was on meth, that was on Project Runway.
Jack McEnroe.
That he did a lot of things. A lot of it was meth related.
Yes.
But he did a lot of things to his boyfriend to keep him.
Yeah. Dolph Dietrich, right?
Dolph Dietrich, yeah. And so exactly. So it's sad sometimes because I think when you do that, I'm so glad the authorities have said we will believe people. We
Me
won't
too.
let these one-offs deter us, because it's like, really, did you have to throw everything off for the
Because
cause?
a lot of people out there will say one bad apple in the bunch spoils the whole bunch.
Yes.
So I'm so glad that the prime minister and
And the
whomever
president
and the
of
president
Spain, yeah.
are saying that that's not necessarily true. So I agree with you.
Yeah, sad. And we want, you know, we wish that the boyfriend that's
Yeah,
dealing with this,
for
because it can't be
sure.
easy. All right, we've got two more stories to get to, and this comes from a Reddit thread that caught my sight, and it asked the question: have you ever masturbated to yourself? How and why did you do it? Cody, have you ever
You want me to go first?
masturbated? All right, I'll go first.
Okay, cool. Go
I
first.
have. Well, it's funny that I read that, because we've had Finn Deerhart,
Oh
who's a
yeah.
relationship expert on our show, intimacy and relationship expert. And there is a whole technique that I did do based on his thing, where it's date night for yourself. I
Uh-huh.
did it during the lockdown, and it was really about touch and intimacy. So it was like an hour or even longer that
Oh wow.
and it was, instead of just jacking off, which I can do in like 2 minutes, it
Mm-hmm.
was elongating the process of Tantra and really experimenting with the power of touch and my own touch, and finding other areas of my body, not just the obvious ones, the nipples, my butt, my cock,
Yeah.
and exploring that, and really coming and accepting myself where I was at, or where you are at with your body, using the mirror. And it can be a very powerful exercise. So I did do that. However,
Okay.
I've also done, for fun, mirror.
I was
def
I was like, mine is going to sound really shallow.
well, I'm just saying,
compared
can
to
be
that.
a really one way to go to it. But of course, yeah, I have taken pictures of myself. The two things come to mind. One is I've had videos of me having sex with somebody, and they're on
Oh,
my phone or computer,
I love it.
and seeing myself getting pounded in the
Okay.
video, and remember what it did for me. It wasn't so much I was looking at myself, but it was looking at how much pleasure I was getting by that experience, and it almost brought that experience back to life. Back to
Back to reality.
Sing it. And so, soul to soul. And so that was like an amazing moment to be able to, like, really, not just in my mind, but see myself live on camera.
Yeah.
But I have also, like, jerked off to myself, and like, think when I was super horny and thinking I looked good,
Yeah.
and getting into it. And yeah, I like seeing my face, and yeah,
That's
the size
amazing.
of my cock.
Yeah.
And
No, that's
shall I go
fantastic.
on, or
I mean,
well, we only have so much time, so you better go.
so I'm glad you told that story because it makes mine all the more
You
better.
notice I started with
I was kicking myself after you told.
the
I was like,
educational
here's
version
your,
of it.
oh, let me come up with something really quick. I don't know.
I love it.
Well, one time in the Himalayas, what happened was no. So
On safari.
so my story, I've told this story on TAGSPodcast before,
Mhm.
that there have been times when I have been in the club and I've looked across the room and
Okay.
I've seen this beautiful young man and all his virility and gorgeousness. And I
Uh-huh.
realized that I'm actually looking in a mirror.
Oh my god. I wish I had a bucket here, because I'm gagging.
So that's inspiration number one, I would say.
Okay.
And then,
Okay. Did you go into the bathroom and check off?
oh yes, I no, I did not go into
Yes,
the bathroom,
queen.
but it was inspiration for later on in the evening when I
Okay.
got home.
You should like the way you look.
100%. I think that's the highest compliment that you can pay to yourself.
Yeah.
So,
Could also be narcissistic.
well,
but
borderline.
yeah.
In moderation, I would
Okay.
say. Okay. So, and then the second one that I want to tell is back when I was sending dick pics and things of that nature, I would send a picture and then be so engrossed and so excited by what I had just done that it was really hot and I jacked off to myself. And I didn't even need the dick pic back from him, but just me sending the dick pic or the body pic to this other person was enough to eroticize the moment for me.
I think that's where I agree with you, is that I've taken erotic pictures of myself and been turned on by because you have to get turned on by taking the erotic picture.
yeah.
First of all,
Oh,
you have to
yeah.
get into the mood. So then seeing that and getting turned on by that. And the only other thing I can think of is RuPaul. If you don't love yourself, how in the hell is anyone else gonna love you, right?
Yep, that's right.
And
Let 'em know,
so, and I
girl.
mean all of you, if you don't love all of you, how in the hell are you going to expect the guy you are texting, which I was doing before we got on the show, who lives in my building? I'm going to get back to him in a second. How are you going to expect them to not love you, but at least appreciate you?
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yes.
We'll get to love later, but let's
right?
start off small
I agree.
or big. I like it big. Yeah, take that back. Yeah, so I think it's healthy.
Yes, for sure. It's definitely healthy to appreciate your body and to look at yourself and see yourself as an erotic figure or something that's beautiful. So I think that's super healthy.
Yeah, I do. I think it's really healthy, and absolutely. So let us know how you feel on that one. Do you have you masturbated to yourself? DM me at TAGSPodcast. We'll read your responses on Instagram on our next show. And lastly, it's our favorite segment. It's called, well, this comes out on Thursdays when it drops on all podcast platforms. It's called our Thursday Thirst Trap. I don't know. Did you already put it? Oh, you already did it. Good. And so this week, so it's the segment we started since we started the show, and it's Our Job by Straight Up Gay Porn, one of our favorite sites. They put together a sampling of porn stars and OnlyFans and who took the thirstiest picture or video of the week. I forget how many we have this week. I don't want to scroll down because I'll lose mine, but you'll see it will be up on TAGSPodcast.com
and he does not
tomorrow
want to move from this one.
morning.
This was my second pick.
Well, I might as well do mine first. So
it
turns out it was
my second
18.
pick. 18, yep.
18 gay porn stars took the best photo or video of the week. And we'll just start with me since I have it. It's Rodrigo Amor,
Woo!
in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, gets my
I'm
pick.
changing mine now.
And the reason, so when we play this game, I obviously look at the visual picture in front of me and pick. First of all, he's just so sexy. He's got he's dark skinned, he's hairy, but kind of cropped hair. He's got great hip flexors, and in between the two legs is this donkey dick.
It's a third leg.
He has a third leg.
Appendage.
He does. And because his legs are hairy, he keeps some of the hair in his bush going. He's super sexy. I love his hands. I love his feet. His nipples are great. And I went on to Rodrigo Amor's Twitter, which is how I often pick some of my favorites. I cheat a little bit.
Okay, that's fine.
Because I think, okay, I'm intrigued, but there's so many good ones here. Let me see what you can produce beyond that. So what I loved about Rodrigo Amor is he's bisexual, but he was having sex with transgendered women, and he was fucking them, but he was also letting them fuck him. He's primarily a great top, but he's open, and I think we need to shout out more to our bisexual community. So, and he's self-admitted bisexual. So shout out to Rodrigo Amor, who gets my pick for Thirsty Thirst Trap.
Fantastic. That's wonderful. Well,
try topping that.
Hispanic Heritage Month.
Mm-hmm. Would you pick Whitey?
Oh my God. Damn,
nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with that.
So mine does go to a white man. It goes to
Mhm.
Ruslan Angelo, but it's also because of a topic that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Just listen, okay?
Okay, I'm
So
listening.
it looks like he's in the bedroom, which is kind of concerning to me because of what's actually going on in the picture. And his ass is facing the camera, and he has the
Or
most.
he's like on a weight bench of some sort. I don't know.
No, oh no, that's
Okay.
Angel
Okay. Sorry.
Rivera.
It's your story. You
Yes.
tell it.
Who is also sexy. Angel Rivera is also
Okay.
sexy. And then so he is in the bed, and he has his ass facing the camera, and it's a beautiful ass, and his asshole is winking at the camera, and then his face is also turned around, and he is brushing his teeth. So I thought, in honor of hygiene and all the hygiene we were talking about, you see how
Look
I
at
take it back?
you.
I'm
Okay.
like a comedian. I got callbacks. I got everything going on in this story. So in honor of hygiene, then I'm saying that he's my favorite because can't stand you right now. So funny.
Go ahead, finish it.
In honor of hygiene, I'm Ruslan Angelo. You have me flustered now. Thank you very much.
Well, okay, I'm making Cody laugh because I'm looking at maybe a third pick of somebody that's very talented that goes by Mitch Matthews. And you guys, have you ever like propped yourself up with you're lying on your bed with your legs in the air and with two fists, and so you're propped up ready to go. And this Mitch Matthews hole is just like it's perfect. You know how you can concentrate and open up your hole. I have done that and looked in the mirror to see how
Oh
far
yeah,
it can open, and his is like really
I
a
gotta try that.
hole.
It
It's
is a hole.
it is done, and I'm making it go bigger and smaller with my computer, and it's making Cody laugh. Check it out and let me know what you think.
That's
Anyway,
also a good one.
and you wondered if we had enough content, and here we
I
are.
sure
We've
did.
got to end the show. Thank you so much, Silas. Hi out there. So great to see everybody. You can always follow my partner in crime, Cody Maurice Doggett. He's a life coach. Follow him at KMD Coaching, and he's got a website coming soon where you can log on and check that out next month. But to get some thirsty pictures from Mr. Maurice, go to @Mr. Maurice, @Mr. Maurice. And like I said, follow us on Instagram @TAGSPodcast and DM us. Weigh in on the show, ask for sex or relationship advice. We are here for you. We want to continue and celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. That was a little hard to say for a second.
After a drink,
After a couple tequilas, we're going to continue the party over at the Eagle because it's the jockstrap party. Hello. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. All right, you guys. Thanks. Nice.